It's do or die time for DWAC, for Digital World Acquisition Corp. Obviously, Trump's back. It is really do or die time because within the next 2 months, this merger needs to be approved, or we will see that this kind of fall apart, right? So we have 2 months. We have till the end of December of this year for this merger to be approved. We just saw it get pushed back. I think it was just about a month ago. So huge next 2 months for this stock. What I'll do in this video is I'll go over the short interest for this stock. I'll go over some institutional holders. I'll go over the fundamentals of Truth Social. And then at the end of the video, I will give a price prediction based on technical analysis. So with that being said, let's dive right in. So we can see here that the short interest ratio, also known as days to cover, is 18.6. So this means that it would take 18.6 average days of volume to cover the shares that are sold short currently for the stock. So that's definitely nothing to sneeze at. Anything over 10 is signals to you that there's a high likelihood of a short squeeze. So given that we're at 18, that definitely is signaling to me that there is a high likelihood that this stock squeezes higher. So days to cover implying a short squeeze, and then short interest as a percent of float, about 8% of the float is sold short. And it's also worth noting that Fintel, which ranks out all of these stocks based on short interest likelihood, ranks DWAC in the top 5% of stocks in terms of short squeeze likelihood. So that to me signals, that gives me confidence, right? That gives me assurance that the research I'm doing is valid, right? So Fintel is agreeing with my thesis that this stock has a high likelihood of a short squeeze as it ranks 196th out of 4,500 stocks, or excuse me, 4,400 stocks. And we can see that there are only about 85,000 shares available to be shorted right now. That's down from about 150,000 shares just yesterday. So not too many shares available to be shorted. And then short borrow fee rate is 17%, roughly 18%. So this basically tells you what investors are charging to actually lend out their shares to short sellers. So an investor is lending out their shares to a short seller not for their health. They're doing it for this 18% annual fee that they're getting back, which is called the short borrow fee rate. The higher this is, it basically just signals the harder it is to short this stock. So definitely signaling here that it's very expensive to short this stock. The higher this number is, the more likely a short squeeze is. So good to see that there. And then with that being said, though, let's go into the large institutional holders for the stock. There aren't many, which I think could actually act as a catalyst for DWAC. So let's take a look at it here. So we can see here that the largest holder is Millennium Management, which is a hedge fund. For those that don't know, very popular hedge fund, very well-known hedge fund. So they have about 1.2 million shares, and then it's really everyone else. So the second largest holder only owns the shares. So this Millennium Management is really staying strong too, because they haven't sold any of their shares over the past couple quarters. So I think that kind of signals that they are in it for the long haul. They're at least going to stick it out until we see what happens with this SPAC, right? We don't know what's going to happen. That deadline will be the end of the year. So I think their largest shareholder is almost certain to kind of stick it out to the end of this year to actually see if this merger happens, right? So I think that's a positive. And also there's a lack of the large passive indexers in this stock. So the three largest indexers are BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. Those three indexers are not in this stock. So I see that kind of acting as a catalyst for shares. Once if we do get this merger approval, you can expect those large asset managers, those passive indexers, to kind of passively come into this stock and own the shares here. So good to see there. And then Cap Trust Financial Advisors, another large asset manager, they actually initiated a position this last quarter for about 95,000 shares, and that's a new holding, and they have a cost basis of about $13. So I see this asset manager, which is the fourth largest holder of the stock, holding shares here until we at least get some clarity on that merger approval by the end of the year. So definitely do think the largest holders within this stock are going to kind of stick around until we get some clarity on that merger approval. So With that being said, though, let's take a look at some of the fundamentals of this company. So obviously, everyone likes the flashy SPAC name, but at the end of the day, we're buying a piece of a company, right? We're buying the Trump Media and Technology Group. That's what you're essentially buying. You're buying a portion of that company, right? And DWAC is currently valued at about 600 million and has generated significant investor interest because it's essentially become Truth Social publicly traded stock ticker, basically, right? So the recent amendment to the initial merger agreement between DWAC and TMTG is noteworthy development. Obviously, they had pushed out that deadline. It was initially supposed to be in September. We voted for that push. So definitely does feel like both sides want to get a deal done, though. While this is promising, it also comes after the previous auditor resigned and the SEC charged DWAC with allegedly making false or misleading statements in a filing. Also, there was some insider trading on the side of DWAC there. So there's going to be some fines paid. DWAC will have to pay a $18 million penalty as a result. And then the latest amendment extends the deadline for completing the merger to the end of December of this year, giving both companies ample time to finalize this deal. Moreover, both parties have committed to conducting multiple supplemental due diligence, a crucial step in M&A transaction. About that noise there. Both CEOs have expressed unequivocal support for this merger. Eric Schweider, CEO of DWAC, seems to view the deal as a pivotal moment for the digital media industry, highlighting Truth Social's distinct market niche. Devin Nunes, CEO of TMTG, emphasizes the platform's commitment to free expansion and anticipates that the merger will substantially accelerate TMTG's growth trajectory. And then Truth Social has effectively capitalized on Trump's brand magnetic allure, if you will, to secure a foothold in a market dominated by giants like Meta and Twitter. Early performance metrics are promising. That the platform claims nearly 2 million active users and garnered over 4 million US app downloads in 2022. Though modest compared to Trump's 87 million strong Twitter following, these numbers indicate a highly engaged user base. While Trump's brand-driven user growth is encouraging, it is essential to weigh the platform's niche appeal when assessing its investment potential. A successful SPAC merger with DWAC could inject Truth Social with capital needed for expansion. This is definitely a huge move for this company. However, such scaling hinges on overcoming inflation. So, however, the brand magnetism that has fueled Truth's initial growth also imposes significant constraints on its broader market appeal, right? It's seen as kind of a Republican platform, right? And you can kind of see that with these numbers here. So about half of Republican voters say that they would use the platform, and only about 77% of Democrat voters, or excuse me, 77% of Democratic voters say that they would never use this platform. So only a quarter of Democratic voters would say that they would use Truth Social, right? So definitely, it's kind of a niche market, if you will, that they're kind of advertising to, if you will. And the 18 to 34 age group, typically the most active on social media, shows tepid interest in Truth Social. Only 7% of the demographic plans to use the platform frequently, while half plan not to use it at all. So definitely some demographic issues for this company. But let's say, this SPAC gets approved and Truth starts advertising a ton, that could totally change the trajectory of this company. And then with that being said, let's take a look at the chart and give a price prediction. So we've rejected this 50-day moving average each day. So for 6 trading days in a row, we've rejected this 50-day moving average. So that definitely signals to me that this 50-day moving average is acting as pretty firm resistance for the so if we're able to close a daily candle above this 50-day moving average, I believe we see a move higher for this stock up to resistance at about $17.30, which is where shares roughly topped, and it's where shares had consolidated in 2022. So definitely think that we could see a pretty quick move up to 17 if we're able to close above this 50-day moving average. Also, it's worth noting that we are seeing average cross above the 200-day moving average, a golden cross, and it really just is what it sounds like. It implies bullish momentum for a stock. Also, we had the 100-day moving average cross above the 200-day moving average in early October, which also implies bullish momentum. So we have bullish momentum signals, and we're really seeing this 50-day moving average act as resistance. Therefore, if we are able to close a daily candle above this 50-day moving average, I believe we see a pretty quick move up to $17 over the coming weeks for this stock. So with that being said, those are my thoughts on DWAC. It's definitely a bit of a niche, social media platform, right? It's not trying to kind of appeal to both sides of arguments, right? That's just kind of what the advertisements are right now. Obviously, they could pivot, right? If they pivot and they start marketing heavily, I could easily see that this company would really take off. And given their cash position, I really do think this company is set up pretty well. If they are able to get this merger approved, I believe this stock will likely take off. So with that being said, please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching all the way through. Have a good one. I'll see you here next time.
Looking to learn more about the financial markets? Well, I just released a new course that will teach you everything you need to know about the stock market. You can find that at happyinvestingtoday.com. Also on the site, you can purchase one-on-one coaching sessions where I will break down your portfolio, and to better assist traders when searching for setups, I'm selling trading bots, which will tell you how your trading strategy has performed historically on a stock, crypto, or currency that you are researching. If you would also like to see what me and my experienced trading team are doing on a day-to-day basis, join our Discord, which is linked below, for a free 7-day trial. With that being said, please leave a like and subscribe. Appreciate you watching this video.